Je vais enregistrer ici. Bonjour tout le monde, bienvenue. On va bientôt démarrer l'eMag. On laisse rentrer quelques personnes.
Hello everyone, we're going to start. We are still letting a few people in.
Alors, du coup, je vais commencer tranquillement à introduire pendant que les derniers participants sont en train de...
So I'm going to start introducing our meeting while the other participants are joining us. So this eMag is live translated.
Vous pouvez sélectionner la langue de votre choix en bas de votre écran sur l'icône circulaire. This eMag is being live translated in English. Please click on the globe icon on the bottom of your screen and select your language. Donc, on vous invite aussi à vous renommer si jamais vous le souhaitez.
You can rename yourself if you would like, so that we know which organization you are from. Put your first name, your last name, and the name of your organization. This is our eMag number 9 regarding renewable energy in Africa. We are going to share an overview of the latest news regarding energy, renewable energy in Africa, and we will be sharing best practices, and we will look at what has been implemented in Africa from the various stakeholders. We will look at a particular study case of a city. Just to give you some context before we start, if we look at the 6th report of the IPCC, which states at many occasions the need to truly reduce the use of fossil energy, especially gas, coal, and oil, which would be necessary in order to not go over the 1.5 degrees. Among those proposals, such as our expert who shared on this, the development of green energies which emit less, have less emission, is one of the main solutions. Also to reduce costs, to make access to energy, renewable energy easier. So, as a reminder, climate change and other partners with a coalition called Access to Energy and Energy Efficacy in Africa in 2021, 2020, our previous workshops have enabled us to draw a roadmap for this coalition. Our main goals, therefore, and we have several. Again, this is a very large and broad subject. So we have a decentralized policy which needs to be more ambitious when it comes to energy, a better inclusion of women when it comes to access to energy, and reduction of non-paid work also. Among those goals that the coalition has identified, we also have a program, adapted training program, inclusive and in connection with local issues, a system for waste management, access of rural communities to renewable energy, and the reduction and impact of RE on biodiversity. We will not be able, of course, to talk about all these various sectors and all these issues during our eMag. We only have 1 hour together, yet we will tackle a few of those, such as information and access. And the next meeting of the coalition, which will take place during the week of sustainable mobility and climate in Dakar in October, we will have the chance to continue our discussions. And at the end of this eMag, we will talk about the call for proposals, call for contributions. So today on our agenda, we have Jean-Marie Takouleu, who is the who is in charge of Afrik 21, specialized in sustainable development. He will tell us about what is being done for RE in Africa. Then we will have Alain, who has joined the climate change team recently, Jean-Marie, and then he will talk about climate in Africa, focusing on energy, but not only. I think there was a slight change. Then we have Pierre-Olivier from Valorem, who is going to be talking about best practices. Pierre-Olivier, who is in charge of mission, and he will talk about at Cryosolar. He will talk about the project of Cryosolar, and you will probably have the opportunity to visit this project before the Dakar meeting summit. We will come back to this also to highlight other best practices. We will have a short video that the Foundation for Energies has realized, has done. So we have a project in a particular place, and we will comment this extract, this video, and then we will conclude with Dimitri, who has just finished his volunteer service in Ouagadougou. He's also involved in a company and in an association in Burkina Faso dealing with energy. Through decentralized cooperation between France and Ouagadougou around the issue of renewable energies. And this is our last session for 2022. We will have a short time at the end to allow our speakers to share and to talk about the various topics which we will be addressing. So wishing you all a good meeting. And without further ado, I'm leaving the floor now, giving the floor to Jean-Marie Takouleu, sorry, and you can tell us a bit about what are your goals regarding the energy sector in Africa. Hello, Chloe. Hello, everyone. As usual, regarding RE, there's a lot of news. We have selected a few points. What is at stake regarding electrification for energy transition and energy production. So we will start with one important event which has just been finished in Belgium. This event enabled the stakeholders to discuss solutions which have been implemented on the continent for electrification. It was during that event that a financing agreement of 10 million was signed with Enedis Access, with the energy group specialized in electrification through solar systems, domestic solar systems, and small grids, small power grids connected to solar energy. Also in terms of financing, the Central Republic of Africa has also obtained a subsidies of $38 million. This financing is for electrification of cities such as Bangui, Wassanbele, Nola, Bangassou, and the government of RCA will focus or rely on renewable energy, PV plants, etc. This is an important financing for Central Africa, which has a very low access to electricity of under 15% and only 1% in rural areas. Also, as part of the financing of solar systems, the French startup Baobab Plus also has received a financing of $5 million. This is a credit which has been given by the investment platform. And this is in order to electrify rural areas in the Ivory Coast, in Mali, in Senegal, in Madagascar, in Nigeria, and also in the Congo, Republic of Congo. So it's a bit different in Benin. The government there has launched a new project to develop electric central plants in order to increase the capacity of the country and to strengthen the power grid and therefore electrification in the country. Benin, in Burkina Faso, also the new PV plant has been inaugurated in Agréambo. This is close to the Central Plateau region with a capacity of 30 megawatts as part of a private partnership of a French group, Casino. A similar project is also announced in Mozambique with a British company aiming at a larger capacity of 100 megawatts in the center of the country. Like Burkina Faso, this production will be injected in the national grid. In South Africa, we have another project in the province of the Cape, with a power of 147 megawatts with an Italian company in order to inject this production in the ESCOM grid. The purpose here, because of the dependency of South Africa to coal of over 80% in the energy mix. So the purpose is to be able to reduce the production and consumption of coal, South Africa being one of the main polluter in Africa. Now, following an initiative of the FAO with some irrigation systems which have been recently inaugurated to enable small farmers to face the drought, especially in the most rural and remote areas in Egypt, close to the Red Sea. Also, another project was implemented, was inaugurated more in the south. There is another project to help Orano to have a PV solar plant of 100 megawatts. Also regarding Senegal, a new PV plant has been implemented with Gulf Engineering as part of the electrification project in Senegal, also with a subsidy of the state through the development agency. Chloe, you have the floor. Thank you very much for this overview regarding access to finance, regarding solar energy. Also, thank you, Jean-Marie, for this press review. Now I'm going to give the floor to our next speaker, Mélaine, who is working with us at Climate Change here, at Climate Change since about a month. Mélaine, welcome to this eMag. Before we talk about the various projects which you are supporting as part of the observatory, I don't know if you would like to react to the press review that Jean-Marie has just done. Thank you. I think maybe during the time of discussions, I will talk about one particular project. For those maybe who do not know me, I'm introducing myself. Mélaine, I'm a new director of climate action in Africa at Climate Change. I'm also in charge of developing the Africa action for climate change. So coming now to the observatory, in a nutshell, a few days ago, I think the 1st and 2nd of July, at the COP des Villes in Abidjan, we launched officially the works of the Observatory for Africa. Generally speaking, this observatory is a follow-up of the World Observatory of Climate Change. For those of you who are familiar with the Global Observatory, this is a research structure, the African Observatory, that will release some publication and resources regarding climate action in Africa. The purpose is to have some content that would help to understand and highlight what is being done in Africa regarding climate action. So our first publications will focus on four main topics, which we have identified as being main challenges to which the African continent is confronted. First, the energy, access to energy, which is a topic of our eMag. We've also identified forestry, cities, and adaptation. These are the four main topics which the observatory will look at initially. And beside those four topics, we will also look in the background context, the issue of access to climate funds in Africa. We know that so far access to data also, of course, is central. So we will produce content on those four topics, but keeping in mind the background topic, which is access to data rather than access to finances. Access to data, and the African Observatory is part of a collaborative approach. One of our goals is to work along expertise groups which are already present in Africa. We have several observatories on mobility, for example, in the Ivory Coast, in Central Africa on forests. So our purpose here, our goal is to just not be here in competition, but to complement one another. The African Observatory has three main partners, Valorem, Energy, and another one. And of course, we are open to any other kinds of partnership, be it technical or financial. Anyone who is interested in our topics, who are willing to help us and support us. Now, regarding the future and our future developments, especially when it comes to energy in Africa, our main goal and future goal is to develop the observatory through publications and other connected activities, which we will be carrying out. And more specifically, coming publications will be mainly case studies regarding projects and initiatives which have been identified in Africa, and then we will have some specific studies on those four topics which I have mentioned. And there will be also a synthesis or an assessment at the end of this year. There will be a particular contribution of the African Observatory, and this will be an opportunity to focus on and to produce some contents focusing on Africa. And as of 2023, we want to have a synthesis of climate action in Africa. It will be totally dedicated to climate action in Africa. Coming back to energy, at the moment, we are also preparing a case study regarding rural areas with some solar plants, which is in Mali, which is a very interesting case study. So keep updated, keep in touch to follow what we are doing. When the case study will be published, you will receive notification. Now, for the coming events in our agenda, we have 3 or 4 events coming in 2022 and possibly 23, and we will be presenting the first works of our observatory. The closest in terms of date will be this climate change summit in Dakar, Summit 2022, and this will be an opportunity for us to present our first publications. After this, if all goes well, we will have a side events in Egypt in November during the COP27, and we will be presenting a synthesis of all the various case studies which our observatory will have published by then. Finally, during this cross-sector presentation in Paris, we will also have half a day dedicated to the works of the African Observatory or the Africa Observatory, now be it in 22, 23, or in the coming years. We will continue to mobilize our expertise groups around common topics in Africa, mainly focusing on the four main themes, but also the issue of access to climate data. So please do not hesitate to contact us or to ask questions if you are interested in becoming a partner with the Africa Observatory. Thank you. Thank you, Mélaine, for your presentation, which was very thorough and very complete. We look forward to reading all these works and to being involved. I don't know if there are anything else, if there is anything else, any other questions. We could also take questions as they are posted in the chat. Okay, we have one question here. Okay, I guess for this question regarding partnership with the city of Dakar, I'm sure you can contact. This is regarding technical issues, so I'm sure you can get in touch with this person and talk. Oh, you want to respond now? Okay. With the city of Dakar, as I said earlier, we have a technical partner based in Dakar and Energy. So we will really rely on our partners so that we can work together on future projects. As part of the city of Dakar, maybe we will be able to work on some common topics to develop common projects or brainstorm together. I'm sure there will be a contact on the website, but what's interesting here from a technical point of view is that we are really looking for partners, be it structures, research structures, or cities regarding the quality of air. This is another important topic that we could work with the city of Dakar. If you have any other ideas, do not hesitate to contact us so we can work on other topics together. There's another question now that could be also interesting, so that we can just, while we're still on this, from Modi Lacour asking, how can one get involved in the work that you are doing in Africa? I think that's also a question for you. Yes, indeed, I have touched on this a little bit. You can get involved in three ways, either by becoming a financial partner or media or technical partner, which means supporting us financially, supporting us, or through data or through equipment. Another way of getting involved would be to become a contributor to the observatory as the writer, author. We will be producing analysis, case studies, so we will need experts on this issue who can maybe help us in the writing of all these contents. Maybe in that way you could maybe help us or get involved with the observatory. In some time, we might also develop the idea of having ambassadors of the Africa Observatory, which would also be a mean or a way to communicate what is our goal or purpose, and maybe help us to develop partnerships on site, depending on where you are based, and then we can work together that way. Thank you. Thank you, Mélaine. For this, we will now move on. As I said, please do not hesitate to continue to send questions and contact us if you want to talk to Mélaine or exchange with him. This is not a problem as such. Now we are going to talk about, give the floor to one of our partners who is also doing things in the area of energies, with Valorem, who is going to now share a good practice. Pierre is going to share that regarding energy transition. Pierre-Olivier Veysset with Cryosolar, who is a project manager, who will also be open to visit in October. And this is close to Dakar, where we will have our climate change summit and the mobility summit. So Pierre-Olivier, maybe you could present to us your project and its objectives. Yes, I will gladly do this. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thanks to Chloe and to Climate Change for organizing this eMag and for inviting us and giving us the opportunity to talk about Cryosolar in particular, which is something that is really close to our hearts. Just to give you some context, I'm working for Valorem, which initially is a producer of renewable energies, and on the sides, which the heart of what they do is producing energies, but they also have developed a project called Cryosolar, which is a solar frozen container for isolated areas to enable anyone around the container to actually have access to storage for storing food or for any kinds of needs, to be able to have access to a reliable cold source, which is autonomous because working on solar energy for isolated and remote regions, or in places where the grid is not reliable, or in areas where there is electricity but too expensive. I'm going to show you now my screen, share my screen. I don't know if you can see this well. Just to explain what is this project, the technical aspects of this project Cryosolar. As you can see here, you have the 40 feet, it's a 40 feet container. It's all in one. Inside this container, you have the production of the solar energy through the solar panels. Then you have the machinery room where you see the storing and the production and the electricity management of the PV energy, and then the cold chamber, which you see here with 35 square meters capacity. This is what we have done in 3 areas, 3 places in the world. We have one Cryosolar that has been functioning since January 2021 in Guadeloupe, on an island, remote island in Guadeloupe. Another one that was developed or set up a year ago, July 2021 in Senegal, and the third one in a fishing area in Fasboy, also in Senegal, which is a small city in the north of Dakar. So how does this work? Briefly, during the day, the sun allows or produces PV energy, which is then dispatched in 3 ways. It comes to recharge a small charging station, a classic type of lithium charging station. Then it comes to feed on a cold group, which is maintaining and producing cold in the cold chamber, all down to minus 18 degrees. But also during the day, this cold group, if you like, will also recharge the cold storage, which could be like a cold battery. This is something that Valorem has developed. So the energy is not stored, is stored in a cold way or cold manner. Just to explain, during the charging of the cold storing, the liquid inside of the cold battery, going from liquid to solid, is encompassing a lot of cold calories, which during the night, when there is no solar energy production, so this cold battery will be melting and discharging to maintain the cold chamber to its right temperature. The lithium battery, which I mentioned earlier, is only here to help the other systems to function, a ventilator, a fan, but is not connected to the cold battery, which is recharged during the night. So this is The three places are fishing areas. We want to bring more diversity in the future, to add this to maybe the medical sector, to other sectors, to even use this as an air conditioning system for larger centers. And also we want to diversify our format. At the moment, we have only the one format, which is a maritime chamber or container. We have started to work on various versions of this. In one 20-feet container, there will be a machinery which will not have a cold chamber as such, but which could be connected either to existing cold chambers that could allow the beneficiary to have some cold for free in the long term, or to be connected to other cold chambers. So with only one production unit, you could have maybe up to 3 different cold chambers. I think I've covered pretty much the history and the context of this project. I hope I was clear enough. You already mentioned the various things and versions that could be developed in the future. I guess you could develop cold rooms or such Cryosolar projects in other areas. Do you have any other news? Yes, we have just completed the demonstration phase, which was symbolized by the 3 containers in order to test the system in real conditions. So this was launched in 2016. We ran a lot of tests at Valorem headquarters in Bordeaux. So we needed to test it in real conditions, of course, with a hot climate, which is not the French climate, obviously, and also to look at how the food would be stored, and with the opening and closing of the door, etc., inside the cold room. So regarding the technical results, we can say that we've had some very good results. Out of the 3 projects, we have more than 95% of energy autonomy. The system is functioning very well. The first 3, first we were connected to a rescue electric grid in case of an issue, but in the end, the autonomy and the resilience of the system have been proven now for about 1.5 years. For the more than 1.5 years and more than a year and almost 6 months for the 3rd project. So what's up for the future? We want to move on and to scale up. We will have, after this first test, we want to make this a commercial project and to bring diversity. We have a lot of demands for gardening, for example, vegetable gardening in Senegal. And also we want to address all of the African market. We have no limits, no borders. Why not even in Latin America or Asia or in the Caribbean? So any areas, any regions which have remote places, which have difficulties to be connected to the electric grid or power grid can be eligible. Very, very interesting indeed. Great to see how this project is so successful. And it's maybe I could just say or add a few words regarding our latest news. We have also developed a partnership with Frigo, which is a subsidy of a Frigo, of a Frigo group. So that gives us a broader opening. We are now supported by a specialist in refrigeration and in cold storage. So they are able to help us more specifically and to help us with every specific demand. It's important for us to work with partners and experts in this field we are able to therefore make more tailor-made, tailor-cut proposals and studies to look at specific food, for example, or to look at various sizes. For example, we're working on another container which would be 300 square meters, so 10 times the size of this one. So the possibilities are endless. So do not hesitate to come and share your project, and we will look into this and see how we can work on this. Many reactions to this project, to this presentation, with a few questions, but because we do not have too much time left, maybe I will let you talk about this visit as part of the Sustainable Week for Mobility that we will have in October, and maybe at the end we can answer some of these questions. Sure. So climate change has given us the opportunity to organize a site visit during the Dakar event at the beginning of October, if I'm being correct. So one afternoon, there will be some shuttles to take people from the conference center to the site on the fishing site where we have one of our Cryosolar, and we will have a visit first with an inauguration speech by the president of Valorem, the CEO of Valorem, who will be also in Senegal at the time, and then there will be a site visit after the speech to explain and present Cryosolar, the various stakeholders, those who have been involved in this project and made it a success. And also we will be talking more specifically about Cryosolar as such, and you will have the opportunity to visit the cold room or the technical room to get an idea, a clear idea of what it is all about. So thank you very much. We hope that some of you will be able to take part in this visit in October. Many questions, as I said, but I think we can answer these later on, and you can be directly in touch with Valorem and with Pierre-Olivier. Now we need to move on to our next speaker. Then we'll be talking about our best practices, which is a Casalec project in the Casamance region with the Organization for World Energy. This is a different stakeholder. We're now moving to an NGO, and we will be looking at access to energy. So this project is also part of our mapping for climate action. We are going to watch a short video, presentation video, and then we will talk with Jeremy, who is a project coordinator, and who will comment this video. Thank you.
Puisque il y aura la lumière chez moi aujourd'hui, et puis bon, toute la famille est contente.
Casamance, only 40% of its population has access to electricity. The Casalec project is there to help the population and to help scale up the economic development. has also been included. Training and supporting local economic activities with the local stakeholders, supporting the rising and the increase of entrepreneurs, local entrepreneurs. Helping to reduce climate impacts. Casalec will help access to electricity and energy, but also will work in the area of health, education, and other sectors.
Voilà, donc pour la projection.
This is the presentation of the Casalec
Bien aimé la vidéo.
program. I hope you enjoyed the video.
Du coup, est-ce que Jérémy, vous voulez bien nous en
Jeremy,
dire
could you
plus
tell us a bit
sur
more
ce
about this
projet,
project,
les évolutions
Casalec,
avancées
especially with the latest developments? I believe
depuis?
much has happened since then. Yes, indeed. Thanks a lot. We started at the end of 2020. So we have launched quite a number of activities. We have identified the company that would exploit the various systems. We have also identified the company that would provide with equipment. And lately, with access to power, we are still waiting for some equipment to come. We want to set up about 300 kits in order to meet the needs of the populations. 300 kits, the 300 kits should arrive by the end of July and will be set up at the end of the month with the help of the local actors which have been chosen. Now, this is for access to electricity. Now, what Pierre-Olivier was mentioning earlier regarding the productive use of energy. So the Casalec project also includes an economic phase of development, as the video was showing, that we want to support about 15 engineers or entrepreneurs to initiate an economic development in a region that is not well developed. So we have already initiated this approach. We have launched a first call to the population, and we have received about 150 proposals of various economic activities, mainly around vegetable productions. So I think this is really part of what Pierre-Olivier was saying. I already have some contact with Valorem regarding the possibilities of Cryosolar. Now, in the future, we are also working with local partners to raise awareness. We've not had many women's proposals, and we want to have about half-half. Out of the 150 proposals, we would like to have at least half of those supported by women. So we are now looking at mobilizing more women entrepreneurship, and then we will select the activities and in order to support them for at least 1 year. And we will come to the end of this project at the end of 2023. Thank you very much. This is really interesting. I was thinking about gender issue and women's inclusion when it comes to energy production and access to energy. This is something that is very interesting. We talked about this in Nantes during our last summit. We had the presentation of a project regarding women empowerment with the help of another NGO specialized in this field. So if some of you are interested, maybe you could find out more about this. So thank you, Jeremy, for your presentation. And now we will conclude with the best practice aspects regarding decentralized action with Dimitri. You just completed a civic service as part of the partnership between Grenoble and Ouagadougou regarding renewable energy. Maybe could you tell us a bit more about this cooperation and on the various actors outside of these two cities who have been also involved in this partnership.
Ok, bonjour à tous et merci
So yes, hello everyone. Thanks, Chloe.
Je vais essayer d'avancer. Alors, il faut dire que dans le cadre donc, de la coopération
As part of this decentralized cooperation, I was doing a civic service between the two cities of Grenoble and Ouaga since January. I just completed my civic service on July 5th. As part of our cooperation, the two cities have worked together on such areas as health, culture, environment, also education, cooperation, international cooperation, etc. So since 2013, 2018 actually, they started to develop a training center in a school in Ouagadougou, which is a professional high school, in order to train on these issues. So the two cities with Schneider Electric were involved, Energy Sans Frontières Borderless Energy and another NGO were involved in this project. This is regarding the partnership and the various stakeholders to train people on renewable energy. To this day, the project has been totally financed by those various units, the Schneider Group and the city of Grenoble. The city of Ouaga is implementing this project through the NGO Énergie Sans Frontières, which is shipping the equipment. So I came to Grenoble to help prepare for the equipment. So all the equipment which will be set up in this center have been prepared here in France at the Énergie Sans Frontières headquarters. And we run some tests from the design to the testing and to the development of the prototype and everything that has to do with the container. So we wanted to be able to look at all the equipment to make things easier. As a civil service volunteer, I was in partnership with the Grenoble University. I also worked with young people who left school to help them and find out more about this training and what to expect with this training. So we also did some transfer of skills that have been taught and learned. It's important and interesting to see the ecosystem of all the local actors who have been involved in this project. Just to summarize what has been said. So where are you at now? This is a recent, where is the project at now? What are the next steps? Maybe could you tell us some more about this? At the moment, the project has reached the final phase for the market has been given to a company which will be building the center. So we are managing the power grid, the setting up of the solar panels. This is what we will have to do. And we will proceed to the recruitment. The high school is actually in charge of this center through the Ministry of Education. So they already have a program curriculum for the teaching program. This is where we are at the moment. We were a bit delayed because of political issues with what happened since January. There was no mayor. So the new local government was only set up recently. So we want to also touch base on what has been done here and what has been implemented. I believe now we are fully in charge and in control of the project and things are improving. Thank you. You have been involved in this project, but you are also involved in an association in a company, also involved in this sector of renewable energy. You were also appointed as a young minister in the Burkina Faso. So could you tell us a bit more about this? I have to say that I'm passionate about this topic. I joined the trainings in 2018, and I thought it would be interesting to raise awareness and teach the population regarding best practices and the importance of switching to renewable energy in view of our global context, and also prepare young people to management of renewable energy, to governance, and to energy policy. So this is why since 2019, we have launched the new debate around renewable energy. We have trained more than 2,500 young people who have become ambassadors for renewable energy. And we are also raising awareness among other people. We've had more than thousands who have attended our meetings. I think we've lost connection with you. We can't. Yes, can you hear me? Sorry, I got cut off. Yeah. I was saying that we were able to touch thousands of people in 4 regions of Burkina Faso, and we are also developing in other regions, Senegal and Nigeria, Burkina Faso. And since 2021, I'm also been involved in a company which I have developed, which is also involved in the sector of solar energy. As part of our NGO, we are also working with people who are displaced. So we are training every year young people on these issues. So I was appointed in 2021 as a young minister for energy to the youth government in Burkina Faso. So I'm working regularly with the regular minister of the government, and I often propose various activities. I'm a spokesperson for young people in order to take into account what young people are saying, and if they have anything to say, I help them to know how to convey this message to the government. This is what we have been doing, I have been doing with the young people. Thank you. This is great. Very interesting to have this thorough vision overview regarding renewable energy and the various projects in which you are involved, talking about the role of cities when it comes to renewable energy reminds me also to other networks such as the Covenant of Mayors in Sub-Saharan Africa, which is also supporting projects. We talked about this during our eMag number 4 when we talked about sustainable development from ICLE Africa. So if some of you are also interested in this, you can read the eMag number 4 or look at the video and the recording. Several workshops will focus on renewable energy, energy efficacy, access to energy in Africa.
Je sais pas s'il y a des questions.
Are there any questions? We have 5 minutes left, so maybe we could take 1 or 2 questions or comments. Yes, some discussions during the last presentation. Continue to pose questions. You can also take the floor, or if the speakers would like to take the floor to react to someone's presentation. Mélaine, would you like to take the floor? Of course, you are free to do so. So we will stay We will stay available if you have questions. Do not hesitate, okay? Someone is insisting that the project should come to Mali, so we get the point, we get the point. So to conclude, just to let you know that you will be receiving soon a questionnaire, a satisfaction questionnaire. Now it is over, and we will start again next year. So we will meet again during the week of mobility. There was also a questionnaire to help. It's an important update. And we have also launched a call for contributions, including energy, in order to select the project. And those will be able to come to Dakar to be able to have a time of presentation during the pitch corner, to have a 10-minute presentation of the project in a place of the conference where there will be a lot of people coming and going. So do not hesitate. I will post the information on the chat. So we will stop for now. Thank you. Thank you to our interpreter. Thank you to our speakers. And maybe we can take a group photo. Take a group photo for our last eMag.
Jean-Marie, on ne vous voit pas. Mais on est content de vous voir.
Jean-Marie, we're glad to see you.
Il y a pas mal de caméras allumées. Micro, par contre. Merci.
Please mute your mics.
Ça. Je suis plus là. Il est disparu, bien sûr, à ce moment-là. Donc, du coup, pour la photo, 3, 2, 1. C'est dans la boîte. Merci beaucoup à ceux qui sont restés. Et à bientôt. Au revoir tout le monde. Bonnes vacances pour ceux qui sont en vacances. À bientôt.
Merci. Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Merci. Merci. Merci à toutes et à tous.
Ah, merci.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Merci aussi, au revoir.
Merci, au revoir.
Au revoir.